You've talked about the important goal of tackling energy and emissions. So now I want to turn to water, where in many areas of the world, water is a critical issue, especially for communities. And because of this CEEC in our organisation, we aim to extend our free energy curves benchmarking tools and also collaborate with CEEC and people in industry like yourselves to develop new water curves, a new industry-wide open benchmarking and improvement tool with that industry support. And we're really proud to hear that Newmont is looking to be a part of that new global collaboration. What are your goals with water usage and how to identify good improvements for water savings and quality? And do you see room for industry collaboration on water and how we can conserve it and use it more efficiently and really tackle quality issues?
Well, I certainly believe that energy, emissions, and water, they're all a shared challenge for our industry. So there is benefit for us to continue to collaborate. I mean, we know water is vital to get right for our communities so we can maintain that license to operate. And it's important for those stakeholders near to our mind. We also know that, water and energy are inherently linked. And it also supports our social license to operate. Now, at Newmont, we've actually had a global water strategy team in place for a number of years. And this team actually links all of our sites together. It does have a focus and a center-led approach to it. But what this team's purpose is to help identify risks of individual sites, to share best practices, to make sure that we're sharing that knowledge and lifting all of our sites to a high level of practice. But having said that, we're still very keen to collaborate, and we're very keen to understand how we can work together with others to improve. It does a couple things, I think. One, it helps our industry so we can develop some common intensity measurements, and not just for energy, but also for water. So I think that's good for the industry. And I think secondly, it also gives us a chance to demonstrate our actions, and it helps us to accelerate these changes. So not only just for Newmont, but other mining companies, and it helps for a better outcome for our communities as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic, actually, demonstrating our actions. I think that, that collaboration and independent tool is one way to do that. It's such an important shared challenge for industry, so important for our stakeholders. Really good to hear that you've got that global water strategy team linking all the sites together. I'm sure we're going to learn a lot from Newmont, and I hope that other big companies will come on board with that so that we can then be sharing across industry and learning amongst each other. That'll be really exciting. Look, Newmont's been a sponsor of CEEC since 2018. We really value that you've joined us on this journey to look for ways to reduce energy usage and now water usage across industry. This type of collective is a way to share knowledge and focus on those shared industry challenges and help all of industry take actions on the ground. You've set some big targets, newly announced goals for energy and reduction of greenhouse gas. In terms of continuing to partner with CEEC, what are your thoughts? What could this type of partnership with CEEC be and with industry be in the future? And what type of genuine industry challenges would help us all across industry? What potential do you see in the future? What would you like to see?
Well,
big question.
Yeah, it is and it isn't in a sense. So for me, it's quite clear that there are some things that are just too important not to collaborate on. It's just too important not to take a position that we need to maintain this knowledge for a competitive advantage. And in that, I put safety, and mining companies are very good at collaborating around safety. We don't want safety to be a competitive advantage. We want the industry to be a safer industry. And I also put energy and water consumption in that same bucket. So I think that it is important to share best practices and leading edge work in that area. I like the idea of what CEEC's doing with the energy curves. I think that that's something that's going to be very, very valuable, as we talked about earlier, and just helping to set that similar standard. And I like also the idea that you're thinking about moving toward the water curves. I think that will also be very helpful in helping us to have a common understanding, have a common language, just as we had to do in safety over the last 30 or 40 years. I think we can make those same sorts of improvement as an industry, and they are shared challenges. And so I think by working together, we can do a lot more than trying by working individually on these items.
Yeah, look, it's really perhaps the start of a new era where we've done really well, I think, on putting in place a lot of safety improvements over the last few decades since I've been involved in the industry and you have. But now we have this opportunity and perhaps really an obligation to step up and share best practices like we have in safety on the ESG front, the energy and water being really key components of that, really sharing solutions and improvements and putting aside perhaps some of the competitive worries and really looking at, well, what are all the things that we can share? Of course, there may be some areas that perhaps a patented or competitive advantage, but really there's probably a lot that we can share that's really going to improve and accelerate that reduction in footprint.